We have two types of buses: electric bus, which is a hybrid model, where we have the initial ignition taking place from the diesel, and then augmented because there's a 20% to 25% gain in the fuel efficiency there. But if you're going for pure electric, there's almost no carbon emission taking place. The cost is little high. Government of India is ready to fund us that too. And on promotional project, we are having 25 buses with the tender is live in process now. Some of the companies here are also eager to participate in that bid. We are talking about smart grids where we talk about solar energy. Somebody told about yesterday that we have 100% of solar cover, where 40% of solar cover was used in some areas in Germany, and there's a university there. What we are talking about smart grids, the energy which is getting generated during the solar rays coming up in the morning sessions are used in the evening sessions. And then we are achieved of 30% of efficiency in that. We are anyway changing to LEDs, so we are having efficiencies and we are having smart grid. We are still not saying that we'll be surplus or will be positive on the grid fund. The issues are saying that we may not be positive and may not generate surplus, but we will be at least saving almost 25 to 30% by providing LED plus 20% by providing solar. When we are talking about green buildings, smart street furniture, online building permissions, and ease to do business, which are covered in urban design. We are still saying that we are in smart PKC 1.0. We have to ourselves increase to 2.0 and 3.0, where most of the futuristic elements are. These are the five different elements which we are talking about: smart parking, municipal Wi-Fi, smart grid, video analytics, and citizen apps. Let me not go through this framework which I've covered once, but let me talk about this graph. We are on the lowest end now, which we are talking about when we consider our global cities where integration has already taken place, and we have a long distance to cover, next 10 years to cover about. Where will we on the citizen service maturity curves? Last slide, 2 o'clock. And we have just gone through an internal efficiency phase, so we are done with that. Citizen empowerment information, yes, we have much developed that. Online citizen services, somehow yes or plus minus, maybe yes. So that's the blue dot which shows that we are somewhere here. What we now want to do is using Internet of Things and communicating with each other, different organizations coming to each other. Smart and sustainable infrastructure is what we want to create. So that's the thing which I reminded all the citizens, and all these hands which are raised are not the question hands which are from this panel, but are from the citizens who say they are happy because they are connected. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Shankar. I think the pace with which he covered the big topic in the available time, I think it is commendable. And thanks a lot once again. And I think this speed must be also applied for all our actions going forward in the smart cities.
Thank you, gentlemen, and a round of applause for all of them. I think wonderful session. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so we won't take questions, but they're all available outside, so offline you could talk to them. One small request, please remain seated, just 2 minutes. We have Dr. V.K. Saraswat amongst us, and may I request Dr. Madhav Rajwade to come up and do the honors.
Ladies and gentlemen, this conference has been fortunate in receiving wisdom from many leading experts of our country. Foremost among them is, of course, Dr. V.K. Saraswat, who is member Niti Aayog, ex-Director General DRDO, scientific advisor to Raksha Mantri, and creator of deadly Prithvi missile. May I request Dr. Suhas Pednekar, President Vigyan Bharati, Mumbai, to kindly lead Dr. V.K. Saraswat on the stage for felicitation. Dr. V.K. Saraswat. Round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. One small announcement that we will be meeting back here exactly at 3 p.m. for the next session. Though it has been mentioned, it is brainstorming and summation sessions. The slight format change is going to be open house and panel discussion. Let's meet back at 3 p.m. Thank you. Please be seated. We are starting our next session, which is summation and brainstorming session, as written in your program schedule. But as I said, it has been reformatted to be an open house with some inputs from our side. But prior to that, I have to make an announcement that Honorable Cabinet Minister for Railways, Shri Suresh Prabhuji, was going to be with us, but since Honorable Prime Minister Modi has given him some task today in Banaras, he is not going to be with us, but instead he has a video message specially delivered for this gathering. So we are going to play it out now for you all. Shri Suresh Prabhuji.
Let me congratulate Vigyan Bharati for organizing this event in Mumbai to focus attention on one of the most critical issues that we are going to face in the years to come is how do you manage the huge flow of people which are going to move from villages to cities. It is inevitable that people will flock to the cities because of many reasons. Whether we like it or not, there is already an attraction for all the people to be living in a place which is very well known, which has a lot of glamour, which has a lot of facilities, which has a lot of other amenities which are not available in the rural areas. But even if you make those amenities available in the rural area, there are a lot of people who like to live in a place which is thriving with and hubbing with activity. We have seen in China, for example, there are probably more than 400 million people have migrated from villages to cities in the last 25 years. Particularly after 1990 actually, more precisely, when there was a huge explosion of cities in China, people realized that they cannot live on the farms anymore to find a better livelihood, so they moved into the big cities. The Chinese have managed it very well, despite a large number. And the number was really mammoth. People say that more people migrated to villages, from villages to cities, more than what ever happened during the long march of Mao Zedong. But what China did, it is difficult for us to do because they have certain governance structure in which only a migrant labor can migrate. His family lives back, and if he doesn't get any amenities like particularly the social security system, which China has a very strong one, is not available to the people living in urban areas. But China did a very magnificent job in managing this huge migration. India will face a similar problem. And therefore I was saying particularly 1990 because Chinese started their opening up of the economy in 1978. So it didn't happen immediately. It happened after about 12 years. So India now, with a growing economy, with new thrust on providing different amenities, new skyline getting developed, slums which always were there are now hopefully making room for better housing. People will like to come to cities. So we have to be managing this in a very proper and organized manner. So therefore I congratulate once again Vigyan Bharati for organizing the event, which is very timely. Our government has already said that we are going to create 100 smart cities. So we have to have an understanding about what we mean by smart cities. So smart, in a way, it means that we have to be really smart, thinking right, intelligently, act in a manner that will not create any problems for future, but also think about smart solutions using technology. So we have to be doing both. Use your human mind smartly for managing it, for planning it, for executing it. But also use, wherever feasible, the technology, the information and communication technology, to actually use it as a tool to make it happen. I've been told that I must speak largely on environment. So while I very strongly feel that smart cities would have many components, we have to have smart transportation. The railways will play a role because we need to integrate the entire transport system into one seamless travel experience. So whether it is by air, whether it is by road, whether it is by public transport within the city, whether it's two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or four-wheelers, or it's a tram system or a boat, which can happen in Mumbai soon, or a metro. All of that you must have a seamless experience for people to have. So transport will play a key role. In transportation, we need to also decide about some solutions for transportation. So we can have one uniform ticket. That's very simple. But secondly, what fuel you are going to use? Air quality gets deteriorated with almost 70% of the air quality deterioration in major cities are on account of emissions which happen through vehicular traffic. So one can imagine the impact of it. So we should discourage people from using private cars, must use public transport. But it is easier said than done if we do not have proper public transport solutions. So we must plan it. But public transport solution, again, if it is planned independent of each other and try to do it in isolation, will not give us a result that we really aim at. So therefore, state government, federal government like us, because we have a role to play in civil aviation as well as in railways, and local bodies, state government and local bodies like municipal corporations must join hands to create an integrated transport solution body, which I've said in my railway budget incidentally. And I'm appealing to all the state governments that let us create this common platform to make it happen. So transportation, though looks like a separate subject, has a huge impact on environment. Because as I said, if the emissions happen, you will really be losing a lot of your natural capital only because you have not planned it well. In fact, a lot of people are suffering from diseases related to breathing. Your lungs are not functioning properly, largely because of pollution load. The particulate per matter, ppms, which are flowing in the air. And that's why we should really try to use proper management of transport to get into better environment for the city. Second large issue is going to be faced by us in the years to come is municipal solid waste. More people come to cities, they will generate more waste. And as we become more affluent, hopefully very soon, we'll have more people to be disposed. Like, if you go to US, we never seen in India, for example, we don't see somebody just taking his television set and throwing it into the dumping ground. It doesn't happen because people keep using it for something or the other. But that is happening in US. People use a tin and just throw it away. But that may not happen so soon in India, but it will happen not necessarily the TV, but a lot of disposal is going to take place of three kinds. One is a plastic, electronics, also a solid waste which is coming out of human consumption as well as others. The food is also going to be used as a disposable waste. So I think we should really try to find out a solution for it. So municipal solid waste management is going to be a major challenge for the cities. How do you plan that is something which we need to really think about very properly. Water is going to be a major issue. I always say that people first move in and the water follows them. Because where the water comes into the city, there are very few cities in the country who are self-sufficient in their water intake. They don't have a capacity that they can get water from what falls from the skies. They can store it as water catchment and then can use it. Very few cities. Major cities import water. Mumbai, where the conference is taking place, imports water from far away place like Nasik. Delhi is going to be importing or even already importing water from Tehri, which is deep into Himalayas. So water management is going to be a very critical issue. I have been always saying this, I'll repeat it again, that we need to have, first of all, as much as possible water sufficiency for a city as a whole. Singapore could do it. Singapore is also a city. Singapore used to import water from Malaysia. Even now they import a bit. What they did was they used to import. Then what they started doing was they will recycle it, use it, they try to remove the impurities and again give it back to Malaysia. So I think we really need to not export to somebody else, but there is a possibility here. One, first of all, catchment. That's first part of water. Every inch of catchment area, we should try to use it to store water. Number two, Water we get, we should recycle it. To make sure that we recycle it, for example, it is very interesting. The highest recycling of water takes place in Israel, almost 85%. And again, it's shocking to know how much water is getting recycled in US, 1%. The second after Israel is Spain, which is about 35%. How do you do that in India? There again, I think we really need to talk about 2-3 solutions which will avoid a conflict, potential conflict between cities and the villages from where the water gets imported. You must have 2 or 3 separate stream of water coming into the household. One, the highest quality, which is potable, which should be used with highest standards, which are determined by the WHO, so that potability of water will not lead to diseases, which are really common now. 2/3 of the diseases are on account of waterborne problem. The second is something which we use it for bathing, so which is going to touch your body, but not necessarily you're going to drink it. So it can be of a little lower quality. And third, which is going to be used for toilets or other places. All the used water, if it is not recycled for some reason, you should try to send it back to the place where we imported it from. And therefore, I'm talking about Malaysia, how they did it. So we can send it back to the place, say, in case of Mumbai, to Nasik. What will happen? Nasik farmers will be happy because they will get water, since it is used and may have some human waste and other contents in it. It will be having nutrients for the soil. So you could send it back with not untreated completely, but not as well treated